What's up, guys? I am now at the new home base. So starting July 1st, I'll actually have my own room. And that's crazy, because that's not something I've really had. I mean, I guess technically I had my own room in Nicaragua, but I was like romantically with someone and living there, so I don't think that really counts. I don't know. I haven't had my own room that I'm like the only person who's living in it in over a year. So this is really exciting. Not that I'm gonna be here a whole lot though in the long run, but still, it's really great to actually like have some space again, because I've been living completely nomadically really for like a year. And it's good to be a bit more settling down and into more structure and routine and like back in the States without a day job. It's pretty awesome, and it was totally, absolutely in every way worth everything that I went through in Nicaragua. But I figured I'd do a video showing you guys what's happening. So right now I am painting. I don't actually move in here, but I don't move in here for like another 4 or 5 days, but we have access to the place for a while. So it's this like, actually no, that's the wood part. This is the living room, right? And it's this like old, like antique-y kind of color. And so I'm painting it bright yellow, or at least my room. My room is this room. So there's these big dory things that we shut, right? So my room's technically connected to the living room. We'll see how that goes. You can see where I stopped painting, right? So there's this convenient little strip there. And I think I'm just gonna edge it so it looks better, and that's it. Because then I don't have to paint the ceiling, which is great. And I still get most of the wall to be that like bright color. Because it's not that I dislike like a yellow or a beige or anything. It's just that it's not like, I don't know. I like it when it just looks more recently painted, I guess. It definitely looks like it was painted like 20, 30 years ago, you know? So it's just also something mental about like painting a place a specific color before you go and reside there. It's very much like a headspace thing, right? I guess I'll talk more about what's going on in my life and that kind of thing. And I'm gonna show you the rest of the house. So I'll walk to the back of the house. That's the living room, right? And there's this little porch thingy. Again, so this isn't quite like Nicaragua price, but for the States, so my split to have a room in this place is $200 a month. And then there's this like outdoory place, right? $200 a month, and then plus utilities and stuff. So around like $300 if you include like internet and everything, and months where gas is like more expensive because it's cold, right? It's gonna get dark. That's really cheap, to be honest. Like, it's definitely not as cheap as Nicaragua, but at the same time, it is like way cheaper than what I was used to in Fairfax County. So it makes the whole lifestyle like more obtainable, right? It's really lucky that I have a really close friend, or close friends who live here, you know? So I have like a community I can be with. And it's close enough that I'm able to go to Reston, which is like my hometown, and it's my favorite place to be. I can go to Reston. I take a Greyhound bus. It costs like, if somebody drops me off in Pittsburgh, then the bus to Washington costs like $30. So it's not that expensive. And it's great because I can pay for this place, and it's cheap enough that even if I'm like traveling overseas and I'm gone for a couple months at a time, I don't have to worry about it. It's not like it's a $700 or $800 bill. Like, I'm okay paying $200 a month, $300 a month for a place to always have and be available for me, right? Whereas if it was like double that or triple that, I don't know about that anymore, right? And it definitely, I think, will be good for me to have kind of like a home base where I actually have like some stuff. Because like a year ago, I just packed my life up and got sold pretty much everything. There were some belongings I didn't get rid of, but I absolutely forgot about the existence of pretty much everything I owned. Like I got back to Lucas and Eric's house, which is where I used to live, and I found some like an old blanket I had before Nicaragua, and it was so weird to me because I was like, whoa, I had a life before I went to Nicaragua for like 23 years. whoa. Like when I was there, it's like, it was this big turning point for me. And it like, I really almost like forgot about my previous life. Not forgot about it. I remember the people, but I definitely, when I came back, so much change had happened that I felt alien, like very much so. It was odd to be back and see things that I used to interact with, like a blanket that I used to sleep in, and be like, oh yeah, I had a whole life here. That's right. I just like just vanished. So that was really interesting. But like I said, Reston is like my hometown. It's where Eric is and Lucas, right? So they're like very, very close to me. That I consider Hasib, Eric, and Lucas like lifelong friends. And very much I benefit a lot from being around them, and they benefit from being around me. It's really, really positive for our like developments, right? And also Eric's the other individual of Systematical right now, which is the company. So like being around there is important because like in person you just progress more. Like so Eric, Dane, and I like meet in person and then talk about progress and talk about what's happening and what my plans are and what I'm doing at the moment and what they're working on. And it's really like, it's just better to be there in person as well, right? Because then you get to know each other faster. And that's really what I am so grateful for in my life right now, is that I can, like, because I have all of this free time, I can be around all of the people I care about, even though they're like 5 hours drive apart from each other. I can see my mom because she lives in Reston. I can see Hasib and Kelly and have this place here. And it's just really, it was something that would have been impossible before. And honestly, like, it enables me to do so much better because I have such a strong support group here of people who know me. And like, by the time I left Nicaragua, I definitely felt that way, specifically about Alba and Flavio and Camila. I very much like felt that I will know them for a long time. And that was the thing that I was so scared of when I left Grind Camp, is that I hated that I almost, after Grind Camp, I almost left the country. I almost fled, right? Like, went back to the States. And I would have hated if I went to a country and then didn't make any kind of, like, meaningful, lasting relationships while I was there. Like, if you don't have an impact on people, and if you don't meet people who inspire you and, like, make you feel that way, like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. It was just, I'm really glad that I met them, because I have a community there that I'm a part of and that I can visit, and they feel that way about me as well. And that is like something that I thought Grind Camp would turn into, or I guess I thought the Grind Camp was, but during Grind Camp, people just didn't, there was this lack of understanding about like people, or a lack of care about people's feelings, I guess. And it's kind of critical to form a like a truly beneficial long-term community that thrives, right? You really have to understand people quite well. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit tangential here. I was just excited about the Nicaragua thing, and it was absolutely an amazing decision for me to go. That was very, 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 very good. Absolutely. Because now life is just easier. Like, because I have so much time and I have the support group, even when I'm faced with tough challenges, like, I really am able to just do what I need to deal with them and work more diligently and regularly. And that's something that I kind of struggled with before. But now, like I said, I'm around these people I know really well, and it's just like, I know how I can play into their lives and be positive, and it works out really well. But yeah, this is the kitchen. It's kind of a mess right now. Then there's this little balcony thing. Oh, look at that. And there was some other stuff I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what it was though. So I made that YouTube course, and I'm really happy about that. But I absolutely need to like do marketing for it and that kind of thing, because when I made the dropshipping course, like, I was making YouTube videos about dropshipping like regularly for 6 months before I made the course, before I even started talking about making the course. So that obviously had a lot to do with the course initially selling well, right? This time, I have like 2 paid students on my YouTube course, which is nothing, right? So I definitely need to get more, I need to build that up a bit more. I'm definitely proud of the course. I think I did good. And I know that, like, now I understand that when you make a course, what you want to do, if you have a YouTube channel at least, is to make the course and really feel proud of it, and then identify like 2 or 3 sections that are more advanced and you can add with time. And then you have like every 2 weeks or every month or however often you have YouTube videos showing the updates that you just added to the course. This kind of helps build like interest in the course, and then the videos get rewatched over and over, right? And people don't necessarily just watch the most recent one that you've done about the course. They watch the one that comes to them in search results. So having more of them is directly beneficial. And that ultimately for me, like, I would much rather be a Udemy instructor than a dropshipper. Absolutely. Just because, like, if I'm just in the habit of making courses, like, I could spend the rest of my life getting information that's hard to find and then making it more easily available. Like, that is absolutely something that would fulfill me forever, really. I can never run out of information that people have a hard time accessing, right? So the more I learn and the bigger I get and the more information I have access to through the community that we're developing, that all just happens, right? So I know that it's what would make me happy. So that's good. It's a really good position to be in, really. Very lucky. I got a free desk. That's kind of cool. I haven't had a desk in a while. I had a desk when I was at Tailored Living, which was my first like real job that was challenging. That was cool. It was an 8-foot desk. There's a lot of like carpentry stuff. So, all right, guys. I think there was something I was trying to tell you guys. I don't remember what it is. I'm pretty tired. I guess I could talk a bit about the interviews. Yeah, that's going well. I'm trying to do, at the beginning, 2 interviews every weekday. So, right, of course, at the beginning last week, I recorded everything. And it's easy to get booked because I just started this, right? I don't know if I'm going to consistently be able to get 2 interviews a day. But I like it because it puts me a bit ahead on my YouTube schedule because I don't publish both of them at the same time, right? So it gives me long videos that people watch because there's like a conversation, right? So it's not just me. And I think that that's really important for me because I'm really trying to find ways to make my YouTube channel more about the community that it represents and less about me as an individual. That's something that's quite important and is one of the reasons that I'm doing these calls kind of regardless of what the person is, right? Like, if anybody wants to do a call, as long as they're willing, as long as they know that it's getting published on my YouTube channel, I'll talk about anything. Like, literally, I'll do any call. Like, I really, really like the idea of anybody in the world being able to just schedule time with me, and I don't even need to communicate with them. That's the part that I love because it's the really, like, the time-consuming part is all the communication, right? And before, one of the big barriers to me doing more of these, like, interview kind of videos was that I didn't want to just, there was like half the amount of time spent communicating back and forth to set up dates and that kind of thing than the actual recording itself. And it's just not efficient. It's not necessary, right? And so now that I have this link that anybody can go to, it's like you literally just click on the link and then you schedule, you pick one of the available windows and then you schedule it. And then I have your contact information, so I just contact you at that point. And it's great for me because I don't need to explain that it's being recorded, right? Because it's part of the YouTube channel thing. It's shown through the, if you find the link, then you know that. And for me, that's great because, like, as long as it makes me content, I'm perfectly willing to talk about anything. Like, even if it's just like basic beginner stuff and it's not super interesting. Like, there's a lot of people who like that, right? So I'm trying to think of them, like, Ultimately, I like interviews because I can interview anybody about anything, and if I get known as an interviewer, that puts me in a really good position for my future and also for my personal development. I believe strongly that your intellect is a direct measure of the exposure you've had to different experiences and different people. So the more I can expose myself to different beliefs and different people, different individuals from all over the world, from different cultures, then the more intellectual I can become and the easier I can solve problems, right? Because if you can see something from a much more worldly perspective and you like have been exposed to all these different personalities and different cultures and different viewpoints, then you can be very efficient with things, right? Whereas if you've just been exposed to one culture and one way of thinking, it's kind of hard to see other ways to accomplish things that might not be what you originally are comfortable with, right? And I personally believe that it's one of the best things that you can do is just expose yourself to as many experiences as possible as a young person. You don't really need to understand how it's all going to play out. You don't need to know exactly what you're going to end up doing. All that you need to do is almost blindly follow whatever results in you like following an interest, right? And it's going to change, and you just keep following those interests, because if you are actively doing the thing that you're thinking about and that you want to do, you're going to do that better than anything else that you could be doing at that moment. The trick is like setting your life up so that you're able to just pursue those interests, right? That's definitely quite tricky, because normally you have to have a job that you're working for money and you're sacrificing something for that money. You're trading that financial security, right, for freedom. So theoretically, you can earn a lot of money one day and then just stop trading your financial security and then start having freedom. I don't think that I mean, I'm young. I haven't seen how things play out in the greater picture, but I don't think that happens very often. Most people who become free, I think it's it's very much like a lifestyle that, like, it's not all about money. I'm trying to explain that without saying that it's not all about money, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to articulate that properly to people. It's all about exposure. It's about exposing yourself to as many different things as possible. Just educating yourself as much as you possibly can, identifying what environment you learn best in, and then being in that environment, doing everything that you possibly can to put yourself in the environment that you perceive as best for you. Because you're the only one who knows. Like, it's great, maybe you think that your parents know best and the other people know best, but the reality is you are the only person who knows what is best for you. You can have other people make those decisions for you, but they can't know. Other people can only project the people they've met onto you. You can never expect people to see you for who you are. That's why it's really important that you make your path, because you're the only one who can actually do it properly. Like, and that's the trouble with like there's so many courses and shit about like having a specific like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, yada yada. Like, it's good to expose yourself to new experiences and to learn, right? So I'm not saying that taking those courses is bad. The trouble is that like you have to teach yourself to think critically and make your own decisions, and that's the kind of what makes people either successful or not successful. There's people who are out there living the world, like living their lives, having a full, enriched, fulfilling life, and they're failing all the time, right? But they're having an amazing quality of life, and other people just most people are satisfied to just talk about what other people need to do to improve their lives. And these are just important things to be aware of, like, But it's hard how to explain these concepts and to also explain like why they matter, you know? A lot of people don't realize it, and that's just how it is, I guess, you know? All right, guys, I gotta get back to painting, that kind of thing. It was cool chatting. I'll see you next time, okay? Ciao.